Hey everybody, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and it's time for Badger's Picks for the last week of April. It has come to an end. Let's see who's free this week and which 4 champions I'm going to recommend. Free this week, we will be seeing Ashe, Janna, Lee Sin, Nami, Sion, Voris, Volibear, Wukong, Yasuo, and Zed. And as for my first recommendation, I'm going to give it to Zed. I just made a new build for Zed, or updated, whatever you want to call it. Zed's a good champion. I probably don't give him enough credit for that. He's always been a pretty relevant split pusher and assassin, just because it totally comes down to a lot of skill if you are good with him. Also, the dot is quite good as long as they don't pick up QSS and other things that can negate it. But he's a good champion. The no mana thing always helpful for being in lane and for farming. He's just a good champion overall. If you've still never had a chance to play him, you don't own him, now's a good time to try him. The next recommendation for the week, gonna throw that one over to Voris. I do like Voris. One of the things I do really like about him is he has one of the crispest standard attacks in the game. Makes CSing with him a lot easier than a lot of other ADCs. That's one thing I do like about him. Besides that though, a recent buff to him where his Q starts to go on cooldown as he winds it up is another nice little change. So it starts that cooldown a little bit sooner. It allows him to get way more pokes off in lane. Besides that, he does an okay job at shredding through tanks with a full crit build. He doesn't have a lot of mobility. It's probably his biggest downside, and he has like the most missed ult in the game, with his ultimate obviously being that, but people miss it a lot. I don't know why. It's pretty easy, just shoot it at him. Other than that though, Voris is pretty fun. If you've never played him, try him out. My next recommendation for this week, that is going to go over to Sion. I'm a big fan of Sion. I talk about it a little bit in the build I made for him. Very strong right now too, when it comes to top lane meta, being pretty beefy still. Really good utility on him too, good in team fights, lives for a long period of time, very, very tanky. Maybe as tanky as it gets to tanks as it is in this game. That used to probably be Mundo. I don't know who's tankier. It would be a good fight to see him and Mundo go at it. Although that fight would probably never end because no one would ever die. But very good champion. Try him out if you have not tried him. And for my final recommendation, I'm actually going to give this one to Wukong. Now, Wukong, now you may think, well, that's not a Cinder Hulk jungler, and technically it is not. The other junglers, as much as they've been getting played less, I still think they're decently relevant as long as you use their power spikes appropriately. Most of the non-Cinder Hulk junglers do a good job in early ganking and getting lanes ahead and themselves ahead. Very important to do that. Wukong, obviously a lot better at level 6, but his passive at least is very helpful for team fights, which is something that can be desired in the current tank meta. He also shreds through people with Armored Pen, so that can be helpful in the tank meta. So if you haven't been playing him, you might want to try him out too. Those are the 4 recommendations I have for you this week. Let me know down in the comments what 4 of these champions you might want to play. Go ahead, type it down there, let me know. I like to know what you guys are playing. If there's a box around any of these champions' portraits right now, that means you can click on it and it will take you to some sort of build and guide to the champion, whether it's an updated quick build or a full-length build and guide. Other than that though, good luck this week on the Fields of Justice.